Thank you.
Love that.
Man, that was good. That was good, Jake.
Danny, I need regular updates about this sort of the dating app progress. I think it's very important to me to vicariously live through you. So let me know how that goes, man. Yeah, good luck.
I haven't got a single like yet.
You also made that dating profile 20 minutes ago.
Well, it's been 20 minutes.
What do you think this is?
Would you have us literally
DoorDash, bro? You think that's what this is?
Do I have to pay up for this?
The problem is,
Oh.
Danny's a gotcha player, so Danny's about to be out in a big way on the dating app.
I'm buying roses right
This
away.
guy's gonna be buying.
roses
He's gonna be buying the boost. He's buying the rose. He's buying
we
the
need to work on
premium.
this. This is a long-term project. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. All right, let's talk about this game because I mean, by the time this game is done, Danny probably will still have 0 likes on the dating apps. This might be a pretty
true.
That's not saying much. That's not saying much.
Okay, that's fair enough. I want to go then. Jake is unimpressed, by the way, with what he's seen so far, but he's working on it. It is a work in progress. All right, Matt, I tell you what, the London Spitfire also could be considered a work in progress. They, have not really lived up to the reputation they established last year by being a team that can step up to these top teams and give us really compelling, not only storylines, but performances in big games. That element of that roster seems to be absent this year.
Yeah, I mean, it has not been great here for the London Spitfire at the start. Also, I mean, going up against the Houston Outlaws won't be better for that. As London, I think, like, roster-wise and, like, the way they're playing, like, I mean, do they end up in that, like, bottom 3 area? Like, possibly. They've had some tough games, though, Mitch. I don't want to kind of, like, just say that this team is, like, you know, kind of, like, out, not very competitive at all.
Sure.
I mean, they played the Justice, who we think is, like, pretty good, right? They've surprised us.
Yes.
They played Boston. They played Vegas, which they took care of business, handled that. They played Florida, who's up at the top. They played the Titans, who we just saw is actually pretty strong playing against the Gladiators.
Pretty decent.
And then they'll play the Outlaws, Gladiators, and then the Defiant. So, like, not many easy opponents here, you know, early on here for the Spitfire.
Yeah. Again, all eyes were on this sort of team to see how they come out of the gates, because I think last year something they showed us was that they were able to play their own style on many of these maps, in many of these metas, and still find some degree of success. Now, though, we've definitely seen, I feel like this season, some of last season, the maps have started to dictate a little bit more, outside of like having Sombra is really important. Maps have started to dictate those compositions a little bit more. And we've heard from the Spitfire, they're going back to basics. They're going back to what works. But there's a question as to whether that's really enough to get the job done against, you know, most of the league. In order to go 500, can you sort of get away with playing that style, as fun as it was to watch?
Right. And, like, the game they probably needed to win, like, in this part of the season was, like, that game against the Titans, right? Where they end up getting blown out. Because you had ended with Outlaws, Gladiators, Defiant, and, you know, maybe you can go 1-2 in that stretch, right? Maybe you can find one there. Maybe you can get a game with Toronto. But even with the way the Defiant are looking, that does not look likely. Where it looks like everybody has become so much more versatile to be able to play all these different types of things. Where London really wants to play like one style of play that may be a little bit dated.
Well, I also want to point out that Reinhardt is just generally outclassed in the brawl nowadays. You know what I mean? It's not really your ticket to an instant win. Like a lot of teams, a lot of discussion about this, right? But a lot of teams are saying, hey, we're really preferring to actually go for the Ramatra here and give us a bit of flexibility in this brawl. And obviously, Ramatra's ultimate gives you something, I guess, that you don't quite get from Reinhardt in many ways, that sort of consistent damage. So, you know, in that sense, there's a question of whether London really should just be trying to adapt and, you know, really be trying to mold the style to suit them, maybe put their seal, their flair on it. We're going to come out with the Reinhardt to start with now. You have to imagine Houston, there's some expectation that they're going to see Hardy Ryan this series.
Oh, absolutely. And Houston, they'll come out with this Doomfist composition, which we've seen them actually go to a pretty decent amount. Doomfist with Pelican on that Pharah. It's just going to be so difficult to get. I mean, Pelican is a tremendous Pharah, even when they have like hit scan or something on the other side. But here, going up against a composition that wants to really bunker down on the point, it's going to be very difficult to get him out of the way.
Pelican, yeah, fundamentally very
that's a biotic grenade from the opposite side.
Force that out.
Oh, they're not. That's a really nice Maywall though from Backbone. There are 3 players hit by that biotic grenade, and they were going to come from the other side, from the opposite one that Pelican was shooting out of. but yeah, the Maywall was right there. That time they don't have it.
Yeah, Shu, yeah. 2-player body grenade this time. It's enough for Pelican to pick them apart. You do need to take the point at some stage. So here we go. Pelican knows that the door is open. Reinhardt is down. Slept at least for the time being, allows him to move on to the point. There does need to be a capture here and then a hold from Houston, but they're looking pretty comfortable here. Just waiting on Shu's timings with these bio-nades to follow up and start to apply that pressure.
Yeah, and now I think this will be, like, I feel like the way that, if you're London, right, being able to control the point when the Pharah is, like, not able to kind of get in there and make an impact would have been the spot you would have been able to hold it. I feel like it's almost going to be harder now, right? Like, walking into this constant just damage coming down from Pelican with no real great response.
I mean, over the years, we've always seen this composition played to some degree, even in, like, hit scan-based metas. The Pharah is good enough to break line of sight often, then she can have a lot of impact. There it is, Cloudy with a chance of getting absolutely dumpstered. Pelican finding 3 with the barrage.
Yeah, as they try and use a Sim TP to get closer to the point, which does work, but a nano boost onto Fearless. He puts down some big damage with a seismic slam and a punch right away, and then it's just a rocket barrage that just ends things up. It looked like London was actually trying to go to high ground, but just get knocked off by a concussion grenade there.
I mean, you're not
Pelican as well.
You're not much safer playing the point as London here, especially if your opponents are able to hold that point. Losing Violet here to Backbone just picks him out in the air, so that's kind of bizarre. Hardy,
I think he got like
here.
Caught. He got caught on like the kind of like overpass there. That's gonna be a sound barrier here. Just trying to live, give a little bit more health to everybody.
Yeah, it gives them the flip, right? Houston had to give up the points, especially once that sound barrier gets employed. Both support ultimates being used. London are back in residence here. Blizzard also being thrown in by Backbone to create a safe zone and also catch Fearless inside of it. The sim wall here is fantastic. Sorry, Violet, what are you doing? The sim wall so good against the Fari here as Violet just zooms on through there.
But he's maybe looking for a little Valkyrie drive-by, like, res on the Fearless, maybe, but this is going to be another barrage.
Immortality field, though, great timing. Landon able to put that down. Looks consistently very strong on this Baptiste. Violet, though, can he get away? Look at the mechanics on this guy. Look at the wheels. Still gets caught by Hardy, but London now getting back into the lead. A lot of big bio nades coming out from Shumat, just because the Spitfire are grouped up by necessity, but no follow-up there in that fight.
Yep. They haven't been able to capitalize on it, though, right? I mean, Shu has hit a few big biotic grenades, right? Because Pelican's forcing them to kind of turn to one side to pay attention, and then Shu's just on the opposite one, hitting these bios, but there's been no real big follow-up.
London are no strangers to people trying to counter their Rhine setups with all sorts of things. Farah definitely one of them. They've done a great job of holding right now, and Houston need to come up with an answer, but Backbone finds a key kill. I like that. Thread the needle with the Bionade, but all of London had the sound barrier on them, and Backbone's found 2 kills. The Houston Outlaws strategy here on the pool isn't going to work. So the London Spitfire are going to be able to withstand this constant pressure from the Farah, get themselves around.
Yeah, good round number 1 there from the London Spitfire. Able to really weather the storm through a lot of biotic grenades there at the end. Fearless comes in with the nano. It's a shatter that's there to meet him, and then you also have a May wall that prevents Shu from getting any types of healing.
See Backbone here, able to find a multi-kill opportunity towards the end of the round. That is incredible little correction of aim there to find the kill on Happy. That is really not easy to do. And then one more, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
bingo.
Yep.
So this is, we often see this scenario play out when teams play London. London know that their Rhine comp is like very obvious, very telegraphed, and it's something that can be countered. They're used to it. They're played up against these counter comps all the time, and I'm not really that surprised to see them win around here. I know like these teams feel mismatched, but hey.
Outlaws switch off of the Farah, right? Go now with obviously Tracer Sombra. They bring in the Zen. We've seen them do this on King's Row, but really like one of the only teams playing the Zenyatta still on other different maps where some extra damage here from Violet, obviously with this dive, could be what they need.
Yeah, we've seen Violet play it on defense of King's Row. They're the only team that do it.
Yeah.
And often against good dive comps, rather, Violet switches off. So it's possible Houston again expected a Reinhardt from London, even on a map like Shrine, where that seems very strange. We do have the Zen playing the high ground here. Shu, though, douses Sparker in the purple stuff. Has to reposition here on a dime to keep Fearless standing, but is able to do so, and Houston start with a point.
I also think it's a little bit of a challenge from the Outlaws, right? It's like, okay, well, prove us, like, if you're going to play the dive, prove you can actually, you know, access our backline and pick up some kills, right? I think they feel so confident in Violet and Shu being able to defend each other and defend themselves that maybe they're not exactly too worried about it.
Look at the EMP follow-up. The damage is there from Violet. The sound barrier does come in a little late, but it is enough for the London Spitfire to have like a late fight push. This times in with Fearless just returning to the point about now. No point stalling, because it does get flipped in those scant moments for London.
They're just waiting for another player to. For a second there, I thought they may have actually, you know, decided to have Fearless jump in. They have a Nano to use here as well with some players coming off of spawn, but just waiting. Maybe Pelican kind of get in position here to set up you know, a play that goes on in as Fearless looks like he actually punches Landon into the wall, but nice Suzu to keep himself up.
Well, not going to be much longer though. Pelican is able to find him. Backbone notes Violet's position there, I think. The EMP though is really just here to kill Pelican. I like the Transcendence response. Violet times it out well. He's able to avoid the Sombra, but when he comes out of it, he's a little vulnerable. Nice little peel from Fearless, knocking Sparker back to the point, but that's where the Outlaws want to be. They need a cap here, and this is the dive susceptibility that Violet and Shu both have as backliners. Gets exploited by the London Spitfire, and they are still ticking up on the point.
Yeah, absolutely. As London has come out to play today, is it's looking like the London Spitfire of last year, where you're happy still here. You also have Pelican, but I don't think they're going to actually make a play for this. Yeah, they're just going to like putting in some damage at range, making sure to build some ultimates. As Fearless now will play the Winston. They'll still commit to the Zen setup here. So get Fearless on his comfort hero here, playing the Winston into Hottie.
Looks like the Outlaws still aren't respecting the Spitfire. They may pay for that in time. Here's the dive on Violet. Ips, he's absolutely owned. Yeah, both he and Shu just get crunched by the dive. Yeah, Pelican's able to find Sparker here, which is nice, but they are in trouble now. They are on the precipice of losing this first mat. Playing a comp that is a little less than ideal. Violet switches over the brink here, but is it too late?
Yeah, we've seen them go for the Doom time and time again, where it is really feast or famine. At this point, though, you're relying on maybe this Nano going on a Fearless.
Shu in trouble. Hacked, brought very low. Nano give it over to Violet, who's going to cost Hardy, but the Primal Rage is timed well. Shu has to position as to not be knocked off the edge of the map, but he's just so low and doesn't have a Biotic Grenade available. Another first pick for the London Spitfire, and they're making it work on a Winston comp, no less. So not only are they going back to their roots, but they're finding success with a more popular composition. EMP from Pelican, not enough follow-up there. The Spitfire take a moment to rest on the point, and then they return to the fray. It's going to be Happy falling first. And the London Spitfire take a shock first map against the Houston Outlaws, who may be forced to respect them a little more this series.
Yeah, I would say so, as committing to that Farah for all of .1, although it did look pretty decent, still does not result in a round win. And then in round 2, continuing to kind of go with that Doom and then also playing the Zen. London showing that, you know, obviously their record not great, but still can play at a little higher quality clip than some of the other teams at the bottom.
Yeah, it was great to see the switch to the Winston composition. They found a lot of success there, playing Sparker on the Tracer. Backbone looked very good on the Sombra. Very good signs for the London Spitfire, measuring themselves favorably up against one of our top teams in the league. Let's hope it's more than just a flash in the pan and they can make it 2 in a row. We'll find out after this. Sure to be a lot of frustrated 3-0 Predators out there as the London Spitfire snatch away the first map in this series, playing their own style. Play the Reinhardt on Village, looks very good, and then they have a great Winston comp against Houston, who don't really seem to be offering them quite enough respect. Yeah. Let's talk substitutions. Matt Lethal and Sky Reaper come into the lineup.
Yeah, as Houston plays their own style there in map number 1. Not sure if the Outlaws fans want to see that style again, but like they've used the Zen on some other maps, just not able to make it work there. Landon had himself a pretty good map there on the Kariko for the London Spitfire, where I think you look at the standings, and obviously London has not impressed thus far early in the season. But I think you kind of still got to believe that this team is better than that. And I think being able to take maps like this off the Outlaws definitely proved that.
They really understood their win conditions, especially there on Shrine, Matt. The Outlaws come out with an Ana Zen backline, not very mobile, not the kind of backline that could peel for itself. You don't have Suzy, you don't have Boop, you have no immortality field there. So
also
you're asking for it,
against
man.
a team. Yeah, and against a team that like struggles in terms of like maybe struggles isn't the right word, but like doesn't want to play dive necessarily, right? And may struggle a little bit with like coordinating those dives. Having a Zenyatta who is pretty much just a turret out there, right? No mobility whatsoever, is the easiest dive target to kind of like centrally focus in on. And it just gives London a very easy way to coordinate those dives and aggression.
Yeah, don't do it again, Houston. Just don't. Here on Blizzard World, well, yeah. Look, I looked pretty good on Kings Row when it paid off for Houston, but you know, we've seen it have to be switched off of just as often as they felt confident to keep playing that Zenyatta. So, you know, we want to see what Violet can do there. He is one of the most explosive, one of the most dangerous support players in the entire world. And that's obviously what Houston want to make use of here. But London are not really fazed by that. They've been up against, I mean, how many top teams have they had to play in their first 5 matches of the season, right? This is par for the course for them here. They will punish you if you give them an opening.
I also would say as well that, like, so obviously the Zenyatta makes it very easy to dive, right? An easy dive target. Also, the Zen, like, can feast on bad dives, right? Like, where if your dive is not good, the Zen can definitely just start dominating the lobby. So, see at least here at the start, it looks like we're going to see it again here from the Outlaws, where I think this will be a question, Mitch, of like, okay, so, like, is it the Zen-based, like, setup, or was it Doomfist, you know, in kind of combination with it, right? Where now you get Happy on the Sombra and Pelican on the Tracer, but you're going to keep this Zen with the Winston now.
All right. Hardy does have the ability to dive, but doing so might make his backline a little vulnerable, so cannot be nearly as reckless and aggressive as Fearless no doubt plans to be here. Shoe laying low for the time being. Doesn't really want to be picked out as an easy target. That Discord Orb, though, pretty important if you want to pressure Hardy down. You also have Sombra, so it's a very hostile anti-tank composition for Houston.
Yes, Fearless has to get all the way back just to make sure he can live. Get healed up pretty far, but that's going to be Sparker with some help from Hadi taking out Violet there on the Zen, so maybe you back up.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's Fearless having to jump away. Then the Outlaws have to poke at long range, which just gives a lot of opportunities for Sparker to log you.
That's not great.
He zapped him. I think Lethal turned tail, went to blink away, and Fearless just gives him a little bit of a tase there. Key kill, and Sky Reaper falling into a pulse bomb here from Pelican. This Jenga tower just came crumbling down.
You know, when you cannot, against tough teams like this, like, just how in the last series, right, where like, oh, the Titans, you know, you need to clean up like certain plays, right? Just like losing your Tracer, like a Winston right click, you know, with some damage that goes down. I mean, that's stuff that you cannot have happen against these top teams. And as soon as that happens, everything else starts to fall there for the London Spitfire. So the Outlaws able to take this first checkpoint.
So the fight went down. The dive in from Fearless. Very, very, very straightforward, especially with the Discord Orb on Landon there. Tracer pickoff, my goodness. London Spitfire be kicking themselves for that.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you're bringing Lethal in to be that, like, Tracer player, right? Like, you know, you got to come in off a little bit of a break and really bring it after you take map number 1, right? A prime opportunity. Maybe you can steal a series here against the Outlaws team. I was saying, like, hey, it'd be great for you to finish, you know, at least 1 and 2 over your last 3. Like, an opportunity to get a win here against Houston, you know, he even puts a 2 and 1 in possibility, right? Which is huge.
Here comes Fearless. Nano on Landon now. Raid Boss activated. Fearless does not want to hang around here. Will take some extra cart progress and another dive on the Ana ideally. I think he's sussed out where Sky Reaper is playing from. Hey, Violet gets the trade back. That is pretty darn nice, and that is a very dead Ana. Sky Reaper's not quick about it. He's actually able to get away. So nice rotation from him. Enough time for Lethal to get on Shu, but the Outlaws are fully committed to this fight. They have a distinct numbers advantage.
Oh, and I mean, Hadi is going to be so low. He's going to get hacked. He'll use that self-destruct, try and get back into the mech, but not going to be able to do so. And it's brutal because you also use a rally during that EMP as well, which ends up getting you nothing. So the Outlaws look like they're making quick work of this second stage of the map.
Yep. Fearless there, chases Lennon up the wall. Not a thing you could do about it. No escape for the London Spitfire now, and 4:35 on the clock. I mean, look, to be pretty, to sum this up, right, it's just a couple of picks in 2 separate fights that have got the Outlaws to this point. First one, London's fault. Second one, well, I mean, Houston are able to engage some pretty nice dives, put a lot of pressure down on the back line, Happy combining well with an EMP.
Yeah, and I also think, at least from the early showing thus far, I don't actually think it's really, you know, the Violet Zen there from map number 1. I think Fearless just on Winston looks so much more at home than playing that Doomfist, right? Where, especially if they're not going to like try and do anything to really counter it, I think you just keep him on that Doom, on the Winston.
Dragon Strike here. Fearless and Violet both able to skirt outside of its luminescence and avoid its damage. Another pick. This is what Violet on the Zen gives you. Yeah, maybe a bit risky at times, but sometimes you just get a free kill. And on a target like Landon, you are not going to pass that up. Pressure is mounting. Fearless on the dive in there. Pelican takes a licking from Hardy on that Diva, but a Discord Orb will have him mollified pretty quickly. Pulse is going to be stepped ahead of by Sparker. Hardy gets a nano here now as the Spitfire try and dig their heels in. Hardy low though. Can he hang on? The Discord Orb is such a pain for him. Sparker had to back away as well after getting hit by a bio.
Yeah, they actually nanoed Violet there to allow him to just put down some more damage. As dude, the Discord Orb plus the hack combo just makes Hadi's life just a nightmare. I mean, cannot really try and heal through that Transcendence here at the end. Yikes. Just for good measure, as that is one way to fight back.
All right, so let's deal with the facts here for starters, and then we can express our emotions. So,
okay.
Yeah, Fearless 6-0 on their map so far. Pelican, Happy, Fearless, all without deaths here, and pretty solid score lines in general. The Violet Zen looked pretty good with 2 final blows. In terms of damage, though, nothing crazy, but being able to contribute at range, I think, has been really important. Spitfire, man, they get 2 kills. Just 2. They really struggle. It's Lethal and Spark are able to find, like, disparate eliminations. They never really get going in any of these fights. And when Lethal gets subbed in here, Matt, it seems like London is saying, we don't really intend to play Sombra, because Backbone obviously is the delegate for that sort of hero. Do you think it's wise to come into Blizzard World and not want to play Sombra, not want to play around EMP and that sort of tank disruption?
It makes it so much easier if you do, right? I mean, it is just clear win conditions, especially if you're going to be playing like a dive. Having that Sombra in play is pretty simple. Get a hack. You can either go in with the tank, you can go in with the Tracer. Makes it pretty easy to make those things happen where, yeah, I mean, playing the Hanzo, like, you can get some of that high ground, right? In the second stage of the map, absolutely. But they were never in position to actually kind of like set up and get a fight. And I think the Dragon doesn't really do much here with these comps that just have high mobility.
Okay, Houston have at times looked a little susceptible on defense. On some of these sort of payload-based maps. They will switch to a bit more of a robust backline. Seeing Violet move over to the Kiriko here, so trying to be a little more supportive, less damage-oriented. See what London can show us. Hardy is basically suited up with a gigantic kick me sign up against like the Sombra Zen comp, but even here, he's definitely going to have to deal with Happy's scrutiny.
You saw Hardy right there. He like kind of flew up and then did like a little bit of a Yui, just trying to bait some stuff. I mean, he's about to get hacked, discorded, and just get...
No, American says that. That is your Australian wife. That is your Australian wife, 100%, bro. I've never heard an American
What?
say Yui. Is that a thing you guys say? No.
Yeah.
Really?
A little Yui, yeah.
Chuck a Yui.
Little U-turn?
No. You don't say Yui. There's no way.
Yeah.
Either. All right. Fearless goes in.
But still, I mean, he's about to go up there, get hacked, and then just like loads of damage going to come down. I mean,
yeah, he knows he has to double back. Okay. That's it. Sparker again. This is really going to act as a pressure relief valve now as the London Spitfire move into the position that the defenders were initially occupying. So that feels pretty good. They haven't started a cap yet. Okay, now they're gonna begin this process. Remember, Violet can return to his team relatively quickly with that swift step.
Well, and Pelican seems to be contesting, right? So you haven't even gotten that first checkpoint yet. Now you do. That's going to be a hack to the high ground. They have to end up getting this
Nice.
Fearless. It looks like
The bubble?
Fearless is going to be able to make it out.
No. Okay.
I mean, he gets lethal on the way out. You have a nano here. There's no way you consider like. No, they do nano Pelican. I was going to say that. It's a nano Pelican. He gets 2.
All right, Pelican, that is pretty ridiculous stuff. I mean, they're bought enough time for Violet to get back to the fight. The fact that Fearless can trade.
they only get a tick out of that.
That's just. That is soul crushing, man. Let's see how this goes down. This is the contest here from Pelican. Not happy on the off angle, by the way, being an absolute nuisance. Then the EMP. That's right, London. Let it wash over you. Look at this guy. Breaking ankles.
I mean, that is just filthy stuff. And I mean, you did build up some good ultimates here for the Spitfire.
Don't
Dragon.
sugarcoat it, bro. That is prime.
Yeah, I mean, look, they
cope.
did. Oh, I mean,
All right, they got shoot. So they did get that. Primal for Fearless. Can he get away? The big question. Violet, the only one that can top him up. So, all right, London keep the space here. They let Houston take a moment to get Fearless back in the fight. All right.
and they used self-destruct there in the rally. So like you use some ultimates and then just let them kind of like walk away.
Oh man. Look at the bubbles, like the bubble cooldown getting reduced by this Kitsune Rush, by the way. Often overlooked part of what made like Winston Kiriko so busted last year as well. It's super good. Fearless can't be moved. 53 seconds left in the round. The London Spitfire had better put it together.
And you're just going to have another happy EMP on the other side of this, right?
They won't be happy for the Spitfire, I'll tell you that. They will be very displeased.
I mean, they have to use everything to just keep Hottie alive there. I mean, he gets hacked. Some damage from Happy. Pelican, you see just kind of like constantly chasing, being a nuisance.
Okay. The hack on the Tracer forced a recall, but he knows where Lethal's going to be. He's out of there, bro. He's absolutely getting out of dodge. Hey, Pompeii may have erupted in his backyard. He's that quick out of there. Shoe deals with Sparker. That's the D-suit on Hardy, bro. Get that Buddy Blaster. Oh, man. 14 seconds left in the round, and the London Spitfire, yeah, they are crumbling.
Yeah, they had like 4 ultimates at one time there, and I mean, they got less progress, you know, with their ultimates. Without their ultimates, like they did better without them. It's going to be a pretty rough offense there for London as Houston bounced back with a pretty clean map 2 win.
There is Hardy just smiling through the pain in that portrait there. Much better from the Houston Outlaws. They really put it together. They get value out of Zen on the attacking side. Violet is unable to be exploited. He puts down some serious pressure. Hardy has to deal with Sombra and Zen. That is awful. That is very, very difficult to play into. And then we see, I mean, somehow Pelican's able to stall the point out for long enough. Violet comes back off respawn there. I mean, big question marks for me in the chat about that attack for the London Spitfire. Their pacing and their sequencing seems a little bit off. They seem unable to take advantage of like openings, like a kill on a backliner, for example, in this round.
No, and then even at times where they're like, you know, using ultimates and trying to play against Fearless's dive, right? And they get Fearless super low. They use some of these ultimates and then don't like try and commit and get the kill, right? After they've gotten them so low, they let the Houston Outlaws just reset.
Oh man, okay, Houston Outlaws come back in a big way, showing us a little bit more of what we expect from them. A bit of their own flair, mixed in with, the more reasonable way to play the metagame right now. Good signs from Houston, their fans can perk up a little bit as we head into map 3 after the break.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade up. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade up. Damage, then you gon' pay up.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade up. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Turn it way up. Turn it way up.
Crank that volume, turn it way up. Way up.
To return to form for the Houston Outlaws on Blizzard World, they figure it out. Or maybe they knew the whole time, just decided to play the right way. Gargoyle comes in here. This is actually a lot of fun. So we're going to see Fearless actually hit the bench for a bit. No changes to the London Spitfires for them. That map was returned to reality.
Yeah, it just makes map number 1 so weird. You see Doomfist for the Outlaws. We've seen it a few times now. I would say with the way that Violet played on the Zen with their attack, I'm not really sure that the Zen was really much of an issue. That really seems like, having Fearless play that Winston, get the most value out of his play seems to be the right move. But when we move out to Rialto, a lot of different options for Gargoyle to play.
And what do we expect, right? Because this is not necessarily a map that we, think that Fearless would be subbed out for, right? Is a Gargoyle playing a Ramatra here, or do we expect something like D.Va to get thrown in?
D.Va? Yeah, D.Va I think is a really good option, right? Like if you're seeing success playing fast and aggressive and you want a little bit of a different look here, always an option. Could also be for Ramatra if possible.
Okay.
Gargoyle, for a second I was like, there's no way they sent him in
Gargoyle
to play Doom. I was like, the Gargoyle Doomfist? Is that where we're going right now?
So this, okay, so what was the team? Was it WDG? Spelt maybe differently. I remember when Gargoyle got picked up, right? This is the Florida Mayhem, really starting to revamp that roster and bringing a lot of this young and upcoming talent from South Korea. Gargoyle was really good. The kind of player that, I'm a little surprised to think that they're a substitute on a roster at this point. They really impressed us in their debut season, especially. Looking forward to seeing what we get from Gargoyle on Rialto here. With London Spitfire also going for the D.Va. Hardy doesn't have to worry quite so much, I guess, about them anti-D.Va elements here, as it will be the Outlaws on defense to start this map.
Yeah, and they'll be running Pelican on the Echo, which we know how good of an Echo he is, and Gargoyle here on the D.Va. So some D.Va for high ground control. A big biotic grenade that gets through there from Shu. I feel like that's happened so many times in the series, but kind of playing that D.Va to hopefully eat up some of those is Gargoyle gets hit with a bio as well, as he will make it out with his life.
What? Okay. I'm not a Hanzo player. Check PC. I'm not a Hanzo player, but I'm convinced that half the stuff they do is just unintentional, or at least it's very speculative, right? My God.
He just looked up, turned to his left, and within a half of a second just killed half.
You can't do anything. You literally cannot do anything about that. Great job, Sparker. Big bio. Again, Pelican hoping to maybe, compound the issue. But we see Hardy switching on defensively here, always shepherding his team regardless of what comp it is. But Shu has a nice little angle for subsequent bios to slow the Spitfire down further. They bought time for Happy to rejoin the fray.
Another bio to the high ground there. Just connects with Sparker, but can really just, this is a fantastic spot to play the Echo from, right? If London's going to try and challenge this high ground, Pelican can just sit right above them and just put damage down as they walk out.
Yeah, it's such an obnoxious angle, and Shu's just on cooldown, bioing the entirety of the London Spitfire. I'm curious to what the decision making is to Nano here. Is there a catalyst for this decision? Because Gargoyle is still probably not in a position to dive 1v5. So the Nano comes out, gets used. Now it's going to be Hardy getting a Nano of his own. Looking to try and pressure down Pelican, if I'm not mistaken there, and it's lethal striking first. Shu goes down, Violet soon after.
Oh, it'll be Pelican using the duplicate here. They're trying to make a play as Happy takes out with two. So you're still in this here if you're the Outlaws.
Yeah, a little dicey though. Pelican, falling on those stairs now. Hardy getting credit for that one. And it will be Happy being forced to back away. What's he going to do though?
You're still going to be able to contest, right?
Okay, he can get packs from Violet now. Violet's gone for it. He's like, I've got Ana behind me. I'm fine. Yeah, the Spitfire have to back up, regroup, but they have taken that high ground corner position away from Houston.
Yeah, so obviously this will change drastically how the Outlaws can kind of play this defense, where now we may be getting a little bit into the territory where you have to play defense under the underpass. As Gargoyle and Crew looks off for a second, looked like he was going to back up, then comes back out, shows again, as this Dragon could definitely do some damage, split some players off.
Violet goes for... Oh my! Gargoyle eats the Dragon Strike. The silver bullet for the Spitfire. Trying to play to this choke. Man, we've got to see that run back. If that was through the wall, that is pretty astonishing. Either way,
yeah,
the Outlaws here, they're looking good now, Matt. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you end up having to use the rally there, but I feel like it almost won't matter, right? You're not going to have Landon end up getting his here. You're going to have this nano boost as well, so you probably get better value than you did the first time. Is they have not really made Pelican's life up in the sky very difficult. Happy as well also kind of had all the space he needs.
Yeah, hard to counter Pelican here. This is why like the Echo without Mercy is viable in this kind of metagame. Lethal wants to drop off another impactful pulse bomb here. Marking Happy for a brief time. Hardy also goes upstairs for a moment. Now we're running out of time and Sparker is down. 19 seconds left to play and the Spitfire running out of options here. Lethal needs to get a sick pulse bomb, but there's a nano boost available for Shu to, again, inoculate that intended target from the burst damage potential. Shu playing ultra safe, ultra conservative here.
Dude,
up in the building.
Look how far back he is playing. I was going to say this before. You kind of caught it a little bit through the camera, but playing so far back, as that'll be the nano boost onto Gargoyle trying to seal the deal.
Tyreepa under pressure for a time. The durability for Gargoyle is more important, and so I guess his prospects of going forward and finding a kill. Buy some time, get a self-destruct, do not get picked off outside of the mech. That's going to be important. Gargoyle hides around the corner. Decent placement, chance to remech now. Pelican with a duplicate on the Diva. There's a lot of these going around, and Pelican can get a bomb. That could be devastating. Hardy goes for the self-destruct here, but the Outlaws just sidestep that play out of line of sight around the card. Pelican is being healed. There's a bomb over towards the card. The positioning is centimeter perfect. The London Spitfire dismayed a shutdown before checkpoint 1.
You know what was probably the best part about having Pelican dupe the Diva there? I mean, you had double defense matrix inside of that
yeah, my God.
I mean, there was nothing coming in. I don't know if you caught it, but like at one time, Pelican was like DMing to the right, and then Gargoyle was defense matrixing to like the backside on the left where Hottie and crew was, as that's a lot of damage getting sucked up by those Divas.
Yeah, absolutely brutal stuff. Again, you don't get the full health pool that, you know, Diva normally gets after duplicate. That's a change that's happened a while back, but that was pretty incredible stuff. Gargoyle as well getting an eat on a Dragon Strike. That's definitely something to hang your hat on, or your feathered mask, as it were. Be very, very happy if I were him. Let's see how this went down, by the way. This is the, was this the eat? Bio here, Sparker, Dragon Strike, and oh man.
Ooh.
That was, look, just in time. If that arrow travels any further, it becomes, it enters a state where you cannot cancel it with that defense matrix, right?
I'd almost venture to say that like probably Violet kind of gave a call out like that the Hanzo was over here, right?
Yeah, maybe they're tracking
because he stops the defense matrix for a brief second and then like looks away and then turns back and yoinks it. Obviously looks a little bit different in slow, so don't know, but
yeah, that's something Fury used to do, by the way. Speaking of Zarya, yeah. Nicely done.
Oh. Well, they were trying to sit that the shield up, and Happy's like smiling because he was outside of the shield there. It looked like a Landon.
Yep.
So a dive with a Zarya here going up against this Diva. This is pretty smart. Knowing they're going to have the Diva there, you can just have Pelican play this Genji to access this high ground and constantly bubble. And if you get the cart towards the end, Hottie can't play that. You can't just kind of sit there inside of that choke and play against that Zarya.
Yeah, they bully a defense matrix-based comp off the high ground, right? I mean, provided the Sparker doesn't, you know, just kill Violet as they try and approach this high ground. So Hottie sat on the corner now. Gargoyle probably very limited charge at this stage, as evidenced by the very, very underwhelming-looking particle lance there. Zero charge. Hate to see it. Again, high ground taken though. Pelican, yeah, getting that extra defensive cooldown going his way allows him just to
now he's got some charge from Pelican up there. Yeah, I mean, Pelican gets right. I mean, what are you even supposed to do there if you're Sparker? Pelican gets right in your face, and he's got a bubble deflect. I mean.
And we're on the cart, and we're going to be done with this in just a few moments here. This is sometimes what
EMP
happens.
Nanoblade.
how much of that we're going to really get to see is the question. Tracer will touch, I suppose.
Maybe EMP.
All right. Okay, no, they're all there. Gang's here. EMP. There it is, like you called it. And yeah, no need to go for the blade. Pelican getting nanoed here because I think the Outlaws realize that's maybe all they really need. Although the nano on lethal's quite nice, right? A decent player to stall. Nice little deflect on the pulse bomb there.
The pulse bomb?
Yeah. No stick as a result of that though. And here's the Dragon Strike, 0.07 meters away. The Reinhardt, a good pick against Gargoyle Zarya here. Gonna be a little bit hard now for Gargoyle to get past his front line at all. Look at what he's doing. Moving into the shield, pushing into it, holds onto the ground, wants to make sure that he catches more than just the Reinhardt in it.
Yeah, you do have the grab here set up, and you also have bubbles and stuff for Violet, and Violet's going to pop rally, so now you can get aggressive.
Not satisfying shooting a Ryan Shield as Zarya, but there it is. Okay, he sees the brick caught inside of it now. He's going to stand behind the Ryan Shield if possible, and the Bio Nade means that Hardy can't do anything. Stun there used by the rallying Brigitte of Landon, but eventually Pelican will have what he came for. Convincing map win here on Rialto by the Houston Outlaws. They start on defense, and from there it's all downhill for them. It's very comfortable finish. The London Spitfire be scratching their heads now, wondering what went wrong.
Yeah, pretty clean with Gargoyle in. I really like some of these comps that they ended up playing here on Rialto, where you get Pelican on the Echo. This is a fantastic eat of that Dragon yet again, where Sparker's really setting up for it at the end of the game. And then on offense, realizing where kind of that box of victory is. And look at just great timing there. Coming out on the Zarya. Really hard counter to that Diva comp.
Forcing Hardy onto Ryan, God forbid. I mean, he must be furious about having to do that. Either way, we've got another map coming up. It's going to be New Queen Street, where the Outlaws look to put the Spitfire to bed good and proper. Well, the series definitely didn't start off the way that we expected it to, Matt, but there was always a pervasive sense that maybe the Houston Outlaws were goofing off just a little bit on the pole. That may be getting paid off a little bit more now as we started to see they've looked much more comfortable the rest of this series. They've gone from strength to strength on both of the payload-based maps here. The Rialto, even the Blizzard World, not that close.
Yeah, I think just on map number 1, they just probably had an insane belief that they were going to be able to ride out on those comps and just win it out over in terms of skill, right? Which you can't take a team like London lightly, but they are in Rialto. I mean, Pelican playing that Genji was fantastic. Able to constantly challenge that high ground in combination with those Zarya bubbles.
What year is it? What year is it, my brother? My goodness. Yeah. That was fun. Yeah, Gargoyle gets subbed in. We finally get to see him get a bit more game time here. He starts on a D.Va who I think looks really good. Really solid on the D.Va. Like, the Outlaws don't have to really do anything too special. Defensively, they just sort of jockey back along the map and really, you know, let Pelican play Echo, duplicated D.Va, have 2 defense matrix going like strobe lights. It's like a bloody Z concert, you know what I mean? There's not a whole lot that London can get done there. The Zarya switch into D.Va, I guess we kind of understand it fundamentally, right? Very hard for D.Va to mitigate the damage. Definitely like a brawl bully style comp. It eventually worked, even if Hardy sort of switched to Reinhardt quite happily at some point there.
Yeah, but London's still in striking range, right? If you can somehow pull this push map out, control game 5, it can be a little bit coin flippy, right? Especially with how game 1 went. So London, it still probably doesn't look likely, but still in position to maybe send this one the distance, which would be a bit of a shock, I think, coming into today.
My goodness, yeah, I guess that is possible, right? If this push map doesn't go well for the Outlaws, right? We're in a game 5 scenario. It's just hard to feel that way with how dominant the Outlaws have looked on the 2 previous maps, but sometimes these push maps can pose a very different, very sort of, I guess, unique problem to solve. Fearless comes back in here. We'll notice that Backbone is actually in alongside Lethal. So the third and final possible permutation of these London Spitfire DPS players is revealed.
Yeah, we'll see exactly kind of what they have planned here with both of them in, as Sparker's typically like always kind of like remained in, right? Plays the hit scans quite well, whatnot. Maybe you're looking at bringing in Backbone to play some May here.
Sombra Tracer?
Fearless comes back in.
Sombra Tracer, yeah, maybe May with Ramatra, right? Could be Doomfist here for Fearless, right? On Colosseum especially, you probably expect to see him try and play Doomfist. These maps that maybe have like less verticality at some points, or like less easy sort of dropping down points for Winston. We've seen Fearless prefer to play the Doomfist. Also, again, like cycling cooldowns inside Kitsune Rush is something that Doomfist does quite effectively. Makes him much more disruptive, getting that haste buff. So keep an eye out for that one here on New Queen Street. This is where the London Spitfire need to show us if that first map was a bit of a fluke, something just out of left field, or if it's part of this team really starting to be able to step up to the level of their opponents. A lot of Overwatch teams, Overwatch League teams have improved this season. The London Spitfire haven't made a lot of changes, right? Couple. We obviously we see some new faces here. They're going to have to show us the fruits of their labor.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Like, everybody's kind of gotten better across the spectrum for the most part, right? Especially here in the West. But London was strong last year. You kind of felt like they were building upon this team, right? That they were headed in the right direction, so there was nothing wrong with the roster, kind of bringing them back, letting them kind of gel and play again for another season. So Fearless comes out on the Doom. Let's see how long they stick with this. You have Violet on the Kiriko, but Fearless here now playing this Doomfist. I think really susceptible to the Sombra.
Yeah, that's why Backbone comes in here, no surprises there. The bubble's annoying for Happy, makes Winston a little less susceptible to Sombra. Fearless wants to drop in around the corner. Again, this is aggressive zoning, trying to create a choke scenario here, force the Spitfire to play into it. Hack for Fearless, this Sombra is going to be very obnoxious.
Yeah, they're just constantly hacking him. I don't think he's in a position to maybe like make a play to try and take him out. As hacked yet again, has to jump back. I imagine you switch off of this, right? Especially with how map 1 went, right?
All right, we'll have to see. I guess Fearless not really building up to a wombo combo ult-wise. Landon got hacked there, is able to swift step away eventually. Backbone will be able to translocate out as well. But Hardy just gets taken down. He looks like he tries to make a solo play for the backline, but it's a shoe and Violet we're talking about. Not some garden variety, you know, a couple of dunderheads just backloaded into your server.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier said than done to try and make a play for that backline, right? You know, one of the best as Violet pushes up, takes out Lethal. So you bring in Backbone here to play the Sombra, keep Lethal in on the Tracer. But it doesn't really matter here at the start, as the Outlaws will get the cart moving towards that first checkpoint. Getting this first checkpoint will be massive. You do have this Nano for Fearless, potentially. And you're also going to have a Kitsune Rush. So Outlaws with a decent amount of ultimates to be able to do it. And, that is a Landon turning the corner, just one-tapping Pelican.
They're committing too. Nano boost on Fearless here. Shoe popping that one. Kitsune Rush going to come down. They get Sky Reaper for their troubles. That is a big pick-off. Trade of supports, but Violet once again finds himself in the correct side of the kill feed. That is absolutely dirty.
Dude, there's like... Violet, like, I feel like you're okay with him just playing whatever, right? So he gets up to the high ground. He'll use the support passive just to gain some health. As just 6 shots there from Violet as the cart still continue to make some progress here. So, do you think EMP from the side here from the Outlaws, or do they just kind of like invite London to walk into an EMP?
Well, I feel that EMP is the main win condition with this composition, right? So I imagine they're going to go aggressive with it. Surely Fearless wants to link up with Happy here.
I think they're just baiting Fearless to get like EMP'd or something here, yeah.
He just says, beam me up, Scotty. Comes back down here with a Meteor Strike. Backbone had to get out very, very low. Just harass the backline here, force a Biotic Grenade. Happy seems to be pleased with that, but he can't get out here. He could be in deep trouble. Yeah. Okay, trade though.
Yeah,
trade of backline.
Fearless on the other side was coming in trying to make a play, but he ends up getting taken out. Where, yeah, I think Happy was surprised they kind of backed up that staircase. You saw him like a little panic a little bit. His player cam threw his translocator towards the other way, but Landon chases him down. So. Finally, the Spitfire get
bro. You can't just step to him without like a bloody translocator set up, bro.
Because what? Because he chased the Sombra around the corner and fired 2 kunais.
Like that,
oh man, yeah, he's got that dog in him. Yeah.
Oh man,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, have some respect. You know what I'm saying? Sheesh. All right.
He was basically dead when he went around the corner.
I mean, Happy, he put his translocator like right next to him. I don't know what to say. Interesting decision.
I mean, Landon watched him throw the translocator.
Woof, woof, baby. That's all I'm saying. Fearless, he stays alive there. Doesn't even need a nano from Shu. He actually gets it when he has an opportunity to be aggressive. And Violet, guess what? Yep, he's there again. Nicely done. Another internal canine, I suppose. Another kunai headshot. And the Houston Outlaws are going to be back in control here.
It's a Fearless straight to power block. I can't believe he has a dog in him because he chases. Yeah. He's got a guy one shot. He goes to finish the kill off. Man, what a challenger.
Take some cojones. That's all I'm saying. Right? He's free. He's fronting up. He's punching in for work. 9 to 5. It's honest work. All right, Happy.
Pretty bad for Sky Reaper as he gets hacked.
No, it's your boy
nice,
there again.
Up there from Landon.
Woof, woof. Love that. He's gonna try it again though. Again, he just used a hack. So yeah, at some point,
Landon rush here.
Yeah, Landon commits to the fight. So maybe leaves Sky Reaper a little bit more vulnerable here. But the Outlaws, they bend a little bit here, not breaking. Landon trying to head up to the high ground here. Meteor Strike, just for a top up by the looks of things here, and there it is. Yeah, Happy hacked there, Hardy in that primal rage. The Spitfire making use of these ultimates now. The Outlaws probably happy to concede a little bit of ground here, I think.
Feels like he was playing Overwatch 1 there. I mean, he's just getting slapped, stunned, hacked, bashed everywhere. I mean, there's stuff coming from every direction.
But my tank synergy.
Yeah, it's Alex Ruff is. Oh, look at this. They actually push up a little bit. In Happy EMPs, they get 1 here. I think they were actually really just trying to get Hardy, but Hardy's able to jump away. So any kind of progress London probably thought they were going to get, it's not going to happen now.
Pulse there for Pelican, yeah, no connection. Hardy's playing a lot of time now. He gets a nano boost. Looking for Pelican. At least if he can keep the Tracer out of the fight, that's a pretty big deal. Pelican looking for probably another health pack right now, or line of sight to their back line. Shu finds the buyer just in time, but he's getting gooned. Lethal gets in there with a Glock. Nothing you can do. The Outlaws able to move the bot back throughout this fight and eventually bring Hardy down, but get Nano onto Hardy. The misdirection created by that sort of interaction. Fearless, I think, doesn't have line of sight to Shu, so he's
they have
chilling.
a bubble inside of there that Fearless and Pelican are hiding behind. I think actually Pelican took the health pack, so Fearless is just kind of standing there, helpless. So, now you'll come back for the Outlaws. I actually like the switch for Fearless over to the Winston. Like, if they're going to play Winston, I don't think you're in a thing where like, oh, we need to kind of counter that and play like a Doom or something. I think Fearless, just put him on the Winston, right? Any opportunity you have even to match it, I think you go for it.
Fearless hacked here. Oh, Nano, okay. Thought he'd be pretty done there, but he's able to hang around in the fire much longer than he probably otherwise would have anticipated. Still backing up. It's just the Nano ability to keep him standing. It doesn't advance the Outlaws' game plan. EMP comes in from Backbone now. That's Violet taken down after Kitsune Rush was deployed. Happy's done well. He finds Skyreaper in the backline. I think he linked up with Fearless there, and a Primal Rage for Fearless may not even be necessary. Both supports are down for the London Spitfire. They start on the front foot with a Backbone EMP, and it's all gone wrong.
Yes, Pelican just runs through half of the team there, which... and Fearless, right? He would have had the Primal if you needed it, but you didn't even need it at that moment, where London, I thought things were starting to get rolling, Mitch. I was like, oh man, are we going to be really looking down? Like London being able to take the lead here, maybe got to get like around like a minute and 30, got like 1 or 2 defensive stops to win. But the Outlaws now push the ball back into Spitfire territory. For a second I thought he was going to commit the EMP.
I'm telling you, bro, he was there when he had to be. Love that. Turns into the Suzu again. It's going to be tough to save your Ana now under this level of pressure, but Landon is there once more.
Okay, he's there.
Okay.
His Backbone translocates out. And it's with a Primal Winston. That is unlucky timing right there.
Definitely did not, was not expecting that. The timing would for Fearless though, and man, getting a kill on the Sombra like that is good. 61 meters and counting, that checkpoint in hand. I mean, I'm
giving them the checkpoint.
Devastated by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sky Reaper's been hard to take down here. Great work by London to sort of keep their backline standing. That's beautiful. I mean, I love this. Fearless doesn't hang around to kill Hardy because he knows exactly where Hardy is going. He goes to the high ground himself, throws down a bubble, and there's no way to heal your Winston. Really prescient approach to the game here by Fearless. And Shu is brimming with confidence enough to stand here and try and take that fight.
Yeah, and seems like maybe some panic ultimates here as Pelican's just in your base killing everybody as they nanoed Lethal there to maybe just try and keep him alive there on the bot to play some type of defense, right? Trade the tanks out, maybe let your Tracer make a play. He gets nanoed and just gets taken out as Pelican has had a fantastic series.
Yeah, feeling himself right now. The London Spitfire about to be deconstructed, or rather midway through that grisly process. Sky Reaper may not be allowed out of spawn for the time being, but Lethal's able to slip through the lines and pin the bomb on the Shu. Now, Kitsune Rush in play now. Fearless loving this. This is his playground. We see Landon trying to reciprocate here, but he gets crunched in the back line. Fearless finds his way to the soft underbelly of the London Spitfire. Now they've got to rely on Sky Reaper, who's got a bubble in his way. No chance to give that healing, but someone has absconded with the President.
Hey, I believe that's Lethal. Getting the bot moving back towards the Outlaws territory just to try and give them some space, but this could seal the deal. Let's see how this EMP comes out. I think you give them some space to start moving the bot, then go with the EMP as, Sky Reaper. Landon has been there to help every single time, but still, I mean, when you got Pelican, Fearless, and Happy in your way, I mean, nothing you could do about that.
Yeah, everything. I mean, the Outlaws had all the freedom in the world. They knew that maybe the bot might trend back to their side of the map while they all dived in. Hardy there, looking a little bewildered as to the whereabouts of his teammates here, and that Primal Rage was not able to cause enough disruption to prevent Houston from executing their game plan, which is to tear the Spitfire limb from limb. That'll be that, ladies and gentlemen. The Houston Outlaws finish off the series in style. It's a slow start, but my goodness, 8-3 for Fearless in that last map, 9-1 for Pelican. Violet gets 7 final blows on that Kiriko, proving to be just as deadly as always, and a solid end cap on a series that started a bit of an odd fashion.
It definitely did, right? I don't think anybody expected the London Spitfire to take map number 1, but I think what you can say is that they were pretty competitive all series long. I think when you talk about the Houston Outlaws and how we've seen them play and teams play against them, and with the London Spitfire's record, I think you have to be pretty happy if you're a London Spitfire fan, seeing them kind of play this way against the Outlaws, because the way they played today, they probably beat a bunch of other teams in the league. So I think you have to expect that record to get better.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? We talked about just the sheer difficulty, the strength of schedule that the London Spitfire have faced. That will somewhat salve the wound, I think, of fans finding their team down there towards the bottom of the standings so far. Not the result the Spitfire were looking for in this kind of matchup, but there's always a sense that this team is learning and adapting from their experiences. They were one of the most improved teams, I think, coming out of 2021 into 2022. With Hardy's leadership, this team really grew, and we think there's a lot more room to grow. On the side of the Houston Outlaws, they're able to test out a few things, right? Bring in Gargoyle, try play the Zen, and a lot of it works out really well for them. So we're starting to see more depth to a roster that's already finding a lot of success. Let's drop player of the match, Matthew. Quite a few potential candidates here. Thought Violet was really impressive over the course of the series, but a player of the match for the Houston Outlaws today is going to be none other than Happy.
Yeah, had himself a really strong day, all series long. Played pretty well on the Sombra, I thought, and his EMPs and hacks are just so crucial in being able to set up all the things that allow, Fearless and Pelican to, finish off these kills. Getting these, huge EMPs, and then also the Tracer play on Rialto, really strong.
Yeah, I think the metagame is really starting to settle now a little bit more. It often starts a little bit wayward at the start of the season. We've seen that Sombra, Tracer both very important, be able to play like Hanzo/Widowmaker, whatever it is. Happy is really delivering in that sense. And when you've got Pelican, who's enabled by Happy then to then go play the Echo, go play the Pharah if he wants to, this is about as dynamic as you can get for a duo. There's a very good reason why the Houston Outlaws are knocking on Atlanta Reign's door perpetually and are going to be a huge factor heading into mid-season. This is a team to fear, and Happy's 1.4 deaths over the course, per 10 rather, over the course of this match is pretty insane.
I mean, the 8.9 enemies EMP'd as well. I mean, that is quite strong there too. So, Happy if he's playing like this on the Sombra and other types of heroes, and you get the performances that we all know the rest of the squad is going to put forward, they are going to be difficult for everybody to beat. And obviously, London ran into them today, put up a pretty good fight, but the Outlaws just so strong.
Yeah, maybe an upward trend for both teams, though. There's still hope for the London Spitfire. It's going to be a long season, so we hope to see them bounce back pretty soon. Don't go too far, everybody. Quick break. We'll come back to Odessa to break down another dominant Houston Outlaws victory.
Lifeweaver serving looks beautiful.
Slay
and you
King.
can be too with the new support bundle. It's got team skins for Lifeweaver, Lucio, as well as Brigitte. And of course also Weapon Charm for just 350 league tokens. All of that is on sale until June 13th. I mean, look, don't you want to have the Atlanta Reign team charm? I do. I actually have it.
I want the golden team charms. How do you get the golden team charms?
Are there actually
Golden
charms?
team charms. How do you get them?
Oh, you have to use it more than 50 times and it turns gold. And then if you use it more than 100 times,
You're just making stuff up, Danny.
I am.
This is false advertising, dude.
Actually,
I don't know how this all works.
Anyway, welcome back. We got a match to discuss. It is, of course, the Houston Outlaws. Beautiful artwork in the background right now. Once again, shout out, of course, for submitting all of your beautiful things by Aden, Aiden,
A-D-E-N? A-I?
Adon.
Oh, A-D-E-N. Okay.
We're just trying every angle, and one of them will be correct. But we thank you so much for submitting, and you too can be shown on the big screen. So make sure to submit your.
Can I be shown on the big screen?
No. You too.
Can I be shown on the big screen? Did you just say that I could be shown on the big screen?
You could be.
Can you beat this? Is art drawing as good as this?
Is it better than this?
No, I just got photos.
It's gonna be Carl
photo,
to be honest.
Because Jonathan Reinforced Larson is a work of art. There we go.
What kind of art, though? That's the important question we'll answer in the post show. Stay tuned.
Looking like Pablo Picasso.
Yeah, it's definitely it's on the more creative side for sure. I do want to talk about the match. Yes, the Houston Outlaws won, but I think when our gentleman summed it up in our cast, Mitch and Matt both said that, if you're looking at the London side here, with this performance, they are likely to beat some of the other teams which are trailing in the bottom or even in the middle of the pack.
Maybe. I'm not convinced, right? We could say, yes, they took a map off of Houston and they won Nepal. It looked good. However, I think Houston very complacent with the comps they're running. Personally, I'm not a fan of the Pharah on Village. I think it's too easy for Ryan Sim. Even though they might lose every single fight, they always cap the point. They TP to the point, they cap the point with a Maywall.
Is that complacency or are they just having fun with it?
Well, but that's my point. You shouldn't be dropping maps to London Spitfire. So complacency, I would say. Like, if they were winning anyway with Pharah, I'd be like, all right, whatever, you're so much better, you can win. But I think that is a map where the rush, TPing to point, and blocking one side of the point with Maywall, it's been incredibly strong since Overwatch came out, and it's still incredibly strong. Maybe even better in Overwatch 2 since it's harder for the dive team to stall point. And then playing the Zen, I think that's more justifiable. The second round, I think I give London a bit more credit on that one. But I think the first round, I think Houston's playing a comp that's very hard to execute well enough, and London's just playing something much more consistent. So I think Houston kind of threw that one away, and then were there any moments throughout the rest of the series where you guys felt really convinced by London?
This one was all right. The way I describe the situation for London is, the Hardy Diva is just not it. It ain't it. All right. I've seen enough of the Hardy Diva for the remainder of the season. Costa did actually bring up something interesting in the green room though, which was that when Lethal and Sky Ripper comes in for this London Spitfire team, they do take a bit of a different shape. And so, I'm curious about London Spitfire moving forward. Hardy Reinhardt looked good on Village, of course. It's like their go-to composition. Hardy Winston, it's like pretty good. Like, you can rely comfortably in the Overwatch League with the Hardy Winston. And what I'm curious about is, will they move away from fielding Lethal on the Tracer and instead put Sparker on Tracer? Because that frees up Backbone to play the Sombra and just flex over to a Winston Sombra Tracer composition. When they have Sparker in with Lethal, Sparker is kind of stuck on that hit scan role, and they don't really have the option to go onto a Sombra composition. So maybe London Spitfire moving forward, a bit more comfortable playing the Tracer Sombra with Backbone, Sparker, and Hardy on the Winston.
Still, I don't know if I can blame Lethal. I think they're just not good at dive bombs, right?
No, come on, Jake. You know this. That just because you bench a player, it's not their fault. It's like it's like back to last year's basics
win
for
on
London.
Any dive comps. Like, I just don't accept your principle. I think they can only win with Rush right now. I haven't seen anything that makes me believe they can.
Come on, their win still looks better than the Diva, and you can't just force Ryan. But forcing Ryan is not a viable strategy.
Agree. Agree, but I think I don't think it's a roster issue. I think they need to win with the best players they have. I think Litzel's the best tracer. I think that matters so much in the tracer mirrors. You need your best tracer.
Okay, well then you're stuck on like Hanzo Tracer and.
Well, I also don't agree. I think they can still play Sombra, right? Like why not put Backbone in and then play Sombra? I don't even think you need to play Hitscan. I think just give up on the Hanzo.
All right, I think Sparker is their best player, so I'd rather have Spark in the lineup than force Lethal and Backbone.
Both. I think we should have both.
Like, Lethal and Sparker? And have one of them play Sombra?
Surely they can play Sombra. Sombra is not like that hard of a hero.
I've met some damage players that just can't wrap their head around Sombra. So,
but they can do it. I'm sure they can.
It's to be figured out for the London Spitfire, but there are some options moving forward.
Yeah,
I think London's improving. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. We have an interview ready with Violet. Danny, please take it away.
Thank you, Zoe.
The winning team.
All right.
Let's hear from them.
Right, time for the post-match interview. We got Violet from Houston Outlaws. Violet, congratulations on getting the win. I feel like this was a very dominant showing from Houston Outlaws, other than the first map. So I just want to hear your thoughts on what happened on Nepal. 자, 오늘 승리를 축하드리면서 오늘 굉장히 역시나 휴스턴이 잘한다는 모습을 보여준 것 같아요. 1세트를 빼고 1세트에서 좀 어떤 문제점이 있었고 어떤 일이 있었나요?
원래 라인 조합 상대로 파라가 좀 잘 통하는 그거여서 했는데 되게 그림이 좋았거든요, 초반까지. 근데 제가 한번 메르시로 죽은 게 좀 크지 않았나 싶어요. 그리고 두 번째 웹은 상대가 그 조합을 할지를 좀 예상을 못 해가지고 저희가 아나젠을 기용을 했었는데 상대가 솜브라 트레이서를 하다 보니까 조금 좀 저희가 생각한 대로 안 돼가지고 좀 상대가 그냥 준비를 잘한 것 같아요.
Bottom line is, I think for Nepal, I think London Spitfire prepared well. Going into the first round, I think going into the first round, we thought that going the Farah Mercy comp against the Ryan would be a good choice for the Houston Outlaws, our team. But I think me as Mercy dying, favored the London Spitfires to get the first round. Moving into the second round, we really didn't expect the London Spitfires comp, especially the Sombra Tracer. We went with the Ana Zen, not expecting that they were going to run the comp that they ran, and I think overall, in general, I think the bottom line was that they were well prepared, especially for the first map in Nepal. Now, I also want to talk about, because I think this map, not this match, and also the previous matches, Houston Outlaws have been utilizing a lot more of the Doomfist comp. So I want to get your thoughts on that as well. Are you guys sort of trying different, compositions, or do you guys see something in Doomfist comps that other teams don't see? 자, 두 번째 질문으로는 이번 경기도 그랬고 제가 봤을 때 그 전 경기에서도 조금 휴스턴 팀이 둠피스트 조합을 좀 더 많이 기용을 하는 것 같아요, 요즘 들어서. 좀 그거에 대한 이유를 여쭙고 싶습니다. 이게 둠피스트 조합만의 좀 특별한 힘이 있는 건지, 아니면 새로운 조합들을 좀 써보시는 건지, 뭐일까요?
아무래도 좀 투서피를 썼을 때 윈스턴이 조금 힘든 조합이 있어가지고 좀 더 그래서 뉴킨 스테이트라든지 그런 데서 둠피를 좀 더 기용하는 것 같습니다.
Alright, so I think whenever we're running two flex supports, it is sort of hard to use a monkey with two flex supports. So we were searching for other heroes that would fit in sort of the same role as Winston, but not Winston. So I think that is why we went to Doomfist, and that is why we're sort of utilizing different heroes other than Doomfist on maps, especially like New Queen Street. Alright, Violet, that's it for the questions. Thank you so much for your time, and again, big congratulations on getting the win. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Danny's the real winner here, getting the wave from Violet there. Thank you so much for helping us get some insight. Remember something that you touched on yesterday already when we quickly discussed the Doomfist, just what he adds that a Winston doesn't have, right? Like that survivability of being in and out of the fight.
Yeah, I think with Tracer, Sombra, and arguably Kiriko, right, you've got four heroes that can all walk forward, put a bunch of pressure on the enemy, and then reliably escape, typically on their own without much help. And that means that your Ana sitting in the back can oftentimes be really untouched. And with an Ana player like Shu, that's just providing so much tremendous value to the team. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think we might see more teams run it, although I think very, very difficult composition to execute. If any one player makes mistakes, you're going to die. Everyone is sort of up to their own skill that they can make plays and still get out.
I do absolutely love, though, that we do have such a range of different composition. I know I repeat myself here, but I think this meta is especially exciting and interesting. And the good news is that there is just so much competitive Overwatch happening all at once to see all of that on display, because stage 1 of our Calling All Heroes tournament actually concludes today at 5 p.m. And then you can catch the top 16 teams in stage 2 starting on May 27th, which is soon as well. If you want any more information on that tournament and, of course, also on the Calling All Heroes initiative, head on over to callingallheroes.gg, that's the one, to read up more on it. Now, speaking of more, we do have one more match happening as well, so let's once more bring up our schedule to see where we're at currently in the day. We're going to end things with LA Valiant and the San Francisco Shock. So let's once more take a look at the lovely faces of both of those teams. The LA Valiant, they are still looking to get an elusive victory. Is this one the one? We did see some improvements from them in each of their recent matches. San Francisco Shock also starting to look a little less shaky. Once again, Max is in, and that means that Reinforce is upset.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the San Francisco Shock when they play Max so far. As I've said in the past, I much prefer when they play Junbin for the most part, but it's a choice, so.
It is a choice,
It is one of the choices you can make. I'm with Reinforce, though. I think Junbin looked way better, even when Junbin was playing like almost only Diva on King's Row, kind of inexplicable, but they look better there.
The Valiant won't be prepared, Jake.
Yeah.
They won't know what tank is going to come out to play.
As if Shock is prepared. I mean, I don't think they know what tank is going to come out, honestly, which I think both these players are strong, but honestly, I am a little bit worried. For the Valiant, frankly, I think there's still just strong enough players on Shock to just win this, but I don't know what's going to happen in this match, guys. Like, I really don't know.
Like, if you can't come out and just play like Junbin Winston with Proper on Tracer and Heesang and Sombra and win against the Valiant, like, what are we doing here? Do you have to, like, metaphorically put the stick in the wheel and just like, oh, I fell off my bike? Like, come on. Come on, like, just get it done, Shock. Like, this match is going to be great because I have no idea what's in store. It could just be such amazing chaos.
It's going to be chaotic energy.
We love chaos, though. I enjoy a real dominant performance, like a real beatdown, or just, you know, two potatoes running at each other. Like, I get equal joy from these scenarios.
I am anxious for the Shock, like, legitimately.
Same.
I am anxious.
I'm like, I mean, I'm leaning towards the Shock,
like
but at the same time, it's like I want to believe in the Valiant. I want to believe so bad.
It'd be so fun.
I'm like, honestly, like, I don't care if my Preds aren't. I'm going to be cheering for the Valiant.
Well, let's bring up the Preds, actually. Let's take a look at that. I went for the San Francisco Shock. It's not a confident vote, but I wouldn't have much confidence in the Valiant either. This is flip a coin. I do think, just looking at the players, Shock should, on paper, have it, though. What about you?
I just, this was a tough one for me too, but I just thought it simply. I was like, hey, like the last two matches, who was better? I was like, I think Shock looked a little bit better. So I went with the Shock.
I mean, I think Danny's reasoning is fair.
There's not a lot of confidence in
Hey, you gave them a map. You gave Valiant the map.
Danny's reasoning is fair. I also gave Valiant a map, but I do think I also picked 3-1 for the Shock. I think the player quality is just a little bit higher. The experience is a little bit higher. I think Shock has a clutch factor still. Even though they're not consistent, they're not playing that well overall, they are clutching hard fights, which shows that I think that they have that veterancy on the team. Despite the fact that there's a lot of rookies, right? They have like the veteran mindset, the ability to play well in a tough scenario.
I think it's a Shock 3-0, but
3-0.
You never know. They lost one map, it could quickly start to deteriorate.
Okay, let's see
Max
where
is on the
chat
first
is.
map.
I'm sure
I don't
it's
know.
Shock.
Okay, chat.
You got a favorite Shock.
12%? All right.
I'm here for this.
right.
I think chat's right.
Yeah.
I'm with chat.
All right.
I think 12%. I mean,
way too pandering.
I'm like
I think chat's right, actually.
I'm like a 1585er. That's where I'm at. I'm a 1585er.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Very specific.
Just that. That is very specific. Now, for this banger of a match, we brought in our local Vegas Eternal casters. It is Jaws.
Wait, these guys, it's not a Vegas thing. I don't think.
I know.
Hold on, you guys. There's someone else.
You're not Vegas. You cast them.
Guys,
You are not
production,
them.
There's been a mistake. No Vegas in this game.
Well, no,
Yeah,
we do
it's
Vegas
weird.
and Valiant.
Oh,
We really like
my
to
bad.
leave the
two
top-tier
V
matches
teams.
for us. Yeah, you know, honestly, I'm with you guys. San Francisco Shock, this is another sweat for them because if the Valiant come out and play this rush style well, the Shock could fumble and it could fall away from them.
Yeah. I think so. Look, at the end of the day, how far can they fall?
Oh no, that's not the question every Shock fan has. And you know, for a lot of the fans, they have that saving grace from yesterday of like, they took a map off the Houston Outlaws. Yeah. They looked a little bit better. London Spitfire also just took a map off of the Houston Outlaws. So I don't
Everybody's taking maps.
Yeah, everybody
Let's
gets a
go.
map.
Houston always gives everybody one. That's
charitable.
the thing. Very charitable, very generous Houston Outlaws. You know, they're making everybody feel good about themselves regardless of them taking the win. Maybe that was the reason.
And here's the difference between these two teams. Look at the Valiant players. They actually looked very comfortable right there.
Yeah.
They have nothing to lose. They're not expected to win this map. While on the other side, the San Francisco Shock, if they lose this match, everything starts to crumble.
You
we
give
start
Valiant
asking that
their
question.
first win too.
And this has been a consistent theme for the San Francisco Shock throughout the entire year of how far can they really fall. They've shown some upsides, but for the caliber of team that they have and the franchise as a whole and the quality we expect from them, they have not been living up to that.
It's a slow start, baby. It's okay. Every team has their ups and downs. Shock are getting it out the way early. They're gone down, and now they're gonna rise, Scott, all the way back up. Rank 1.
Starting to sound like social media right now,
Yeah,
Jack.
don't worry.
Every single Shock fan who's just
here.
holding on to the 2020 dream is believing in you. But
why not?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why. And
Okay, break them down.
Let's talk about them. You know, the Max versus Junbin debate of why are they playing both tanks? We've heard from Junbin himself saying, you know, we want to have diversity from both tanks so teams can't prepare for what we're going to bring out. It's a bold strategy, spreading both of your new rookie players so thin, and that's been a lot of reasons why people have been doubting these people. But the other one is Heesang proper. What heroes do they play and specialize on this team? Proper and Heesang can both play Tracer, and they've been trading time on that one, and then trading who's playing the Sombra. Is Proper going to play the hit scan? Heesang on the Hanzo. There's a lot of questions that have yet to be answered by the San Francisco Shock of what this roster looks like in the server.
Yeah, it has been a very strange affair seeing both Heesang and Proper trade Tracer, and you can see it now. I mean, Heesang's on Tracer, Proper on the Ashe instead. Very different looks to both teams too. I want to see how Valiant are going to be able to get onto this backline. Like, Proper's going to be very hard to dive. He's going to pump out free damage, and Ashe on this point, Scott, take the high ground or high ground this corner. Dynamite's very much free value throwing up to high ground or even just onto the point to stop Crowy getting permacat. Even forces the recall on Nos, so even he can't go in now, and CJ double headshot. No, Swift steps away, doesn't get taken down by Proper. In fact, Proper takes a headshot from the Kiriko as the point is juggled.
And this, I wouldn't be surprised if Proper is playing this Ashe with the expectation that the Valiant don't want to play Sombra. They want to put Seeker onto that Hanzo, play very defensively, so he can just play this Ashe almost for free. And with Corey on the D.Va as well, he can mitigate some of the damage, but they have no answers to taking down Proper. And that's why this first fight has just been jostling for position, looking for a pick.
Yeah, Heesang has got the pulse bomb. There's the pick that you wanted. Proper with an instant headshot, pulse bomb, Liar. Oh man, didn't connect, but it didn't matter. Liar ends up going down to the pulse, and that'll be the first cap going to Shock. And now it's just maybe a couple of staggers? Not quite, no. They don't want to push their advantage too far.
Liar's like, who put that box there that I ran into? And
he jumped into it too, so that momentum not working out in his favor.
Yeah, that was just a very slow fight, and a lot of people are going to start to get ultimates up here. The Valiant are dependent on Seeker to get a lot of value with these Hanzo shots, which isn't a bad gamble, considering the Valiant matches we've watched so far this season. But the San Francisco Shock, they have the ability to take the initiative whenever. They have the nano boost on Finn. They can throw that onto Max and jump into this backline whenever they want, but Croy's going to be waiting on the D.Va.
Not taking a lot of damage. Had to retreat there, go back to Liar, get full HP again. Man, it just reminds me of City Center at this point. It's so hard to actually take the point. Nano boost coming out onto Max. Liar still got one in his back pocket, but it is San Francisco Shock once again forcing the issue. Continue rush on the point as they do trade Finn for Nos, but now Max can go in pretty much scot-free. I mean, he's got Primal Rage, and with Heesang picking up a triple kill, this fight is pretty much done and dusted. Point not even flipped. Got another pulse and a big stagger into Crowy. They get the demon. Okay, yeah, jump off the edge. You might as well, but Proper gets a lot of free ult charge using that coach gun. Crowy didn't matrix that at all, so Proper now has a bob.
You saw Max, as soon as Croy got the nano boost and went aggressive, Max's time to shine jumps into the backline.
Heesang.
But now we get to see Heesang Tracer. Oh, nice little bait there on the defense matrix. Takes out 2. Maybe going to get 3 here. Yeah, Heesang doing a great job on this Tracer, and he is a phenomenal Tracer player coming out of contenders, but he's not as good as Proper. So that's why we've seen so much of this back and forth between these two players, because depending on the map, they want a different Tracer player.